Hello guys, we are at the Stirling Castle and we're going to head to Stirling Castle Cemetery. I'm with my colleague Carl. We don't know how much history we're going to get.
1,000 years of history.
1,000 years of history.
Well, early on last Saturday they celebrated 900 years, didn't they, of Stirling Stirling history. Well, that's the only written documentation of when it became a borough, Stirling, a royal borough. Obviously it goes back a lot longer, unwritten history. So I reckon you're looking at least 1,000 years of Stirling being a royal borough.
I mean, this is, was this the capital at one point?
Oh yeah, this is the royal capital, yeah. Yeah, which way do you want to go? Do you want to go that way?
Right. Which,
You've got a little bit of a drop if you go this way.
Yeah.
This is the scenic route.
Yeah, we'll take the scenic route.
Yeah. Goes back to Alexander first. You should remember when you came here with your friend when you felt a little bit queasy.
Yeah.
So all this land back in the day, this is where they tried the witches, this is where they hung the witches, they burned the witches.
Well, that's the thing. I'm wondering the spot that Jay mentioned, whether that's related to that or what it was before that point, before the war graves were put there, or whether somebody was actually doing some.
Well, the Victorians flattened this out into a plateau, you know, to open it to the public, the Stirling Castle. So this was, it was a plateau to a certain extent, but it was a lot steeper.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're down there coming into the town or the city, you could see this hillock for miles. Hence, that's why they burnt the witches here.
Right, bear with me. Right, we're back in.
We're back in the room.
Yeah. Just checking my footage. It's funny, it looks like a tyre that was over here. Oh, it's the back end of a gravestone. It was just very black. And oh, are you going through the tradesman entrance? Do you think Simon can even fit through here? Jesus Christ!
There we go. I'll tell you a funny story about the statue, the John Knox statue.
I'm hoping that they can hear us on this camera. I've not tested any of the audio from previous. I have the microphone that stops the wind blowing on it. So this is the first time I've tested it. It's used for like motorcycles and stuff. I don't know if it lessens the sound. Something running there goes a ribbit. Here's a ribbits. It's not ghosts, it's just ribbits.
You can see. Funny story. Mr. Knox. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, what you can notice about him is he's got no arms. He's armless.
All right. Yeah. Aye.
So, back in the day, when he was fully armless, around about the 70s, early 80s, kids used to swing from his arm that was out like that. Yeah, made a swing out of it.
All right, okay.
And over the course of time, and the kid swinging on it, it fell off. Right. So the arm came off just where the sleeves, where it comes to the sleeve there. Right. So for years and years and years, it'd be having no arm. So of course the people in the Stirling city thought, well, we need to do something about this. We need to put his arm back. So Stirling Council, in the ultimate wisdom, fitted his arm, but not just any arm. It looked as though he was telling the Almighty to go forth to multiply. Yep. So after another 6 months, they came back to change the arm, or to change the fingers. And what did they do? They took the other arm off, but left the offending fingers, like that. After another 6 months, Stirling Council came again and took his arm down, or took his fingers, the offending fingers, away. So just to replace an arm and to put an arm back up, it took Stirling Council the end of 2 years to sort it out. Jesus. So eventually they just left it.
Bloody councils, eh?
Yeah.
He looks like he's holding a cup now. or if that's meant to be his sleeve. And they still missing a hand.
Well, rather than take the arm off, they took the fingers away because apparently it looked like he was doing that.
He's going
to the offender, to the Almighty. Stirling Council fire.
Mental.
Absolutely.
He's not buried here, is he?
No, no. Well, he's buried here.
Oh, he's buried.
Park at St. Giles.
Yeah, it's the car park. I keep meaning to go and have a wee look.
When James VI was in his coronation, he actually did a sermon in the Church of the Holy Rood.
Do you know anything about this? This is Jewish writing,
Hebrew.
and Hebrew. That's what I was looking for. I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is I just wondered. Do you see that little? That's an interesting symbol there. I don't know what that means. If anybody knows, but I keep wondering whether that's Hebrew for God in the middle.
Maybe, because it was all religions were all buried here. There's no segregation, Muslim, Christian.
Right.
They're all buried in the. It's based on just like the Victorian things. The more money you got, the more lavish.
Must have something on it. It's got chains, like loops on it.
That is what you call that structure there, that hill there. That's what they call Ladies' Hill. And what used to back in the day during the jousting, the ladies, the knights' ladies, the loved ones, the girlfriends used to sit up there on the makeshift apparatus and watch the knights joust. Now before the 15th century, they jousted it on this field here. Yeah, it was used as, like I said, to witches. It was used for jousting, everything. But when they started making this into a cemetery or a graveyard, they switched to jousting. And during the baptism of James VI, when Mary Queen of Scots was in the castle, they jousted at the King's Knoll, as you came in, the big thing. But they still used that as a vantage point for the ladies off the castle, for the loved ones jousting, the men tournament. And the story goes, I'll tell you as we move further on, what happened during one of the jousting sessions was the actual apparatus, or the stand that they sat on, collapsed.
All right.
Right? And one of the ladies in waiting was killed.
That's quite a fall from there.
Yeah. Well, let's face it, back in the day, there was no health and safety, wasn't there?
No.
And what happened, one of the ladies was killed. Now, they seem to think that this may be the ghost of the Pink Lady that walks the cemetery.
Oh, okay.
A lady seen, and the Pink Lady seen in a pink shroud and pink haze. You can smell the smell of blossom is smelt as well when she actually, and she believes she floats up the walkway. I'll show you the pathway that she floats from.
The smell of sort of like rose blossoms.
Yeah. And really, it's
quite a common smell, that.
Because there's no rose blossoms in it,
Yeah.
So it's a distinctive smell.
Yeah, roses is quite a common smell for female ghosts.
Historians that actually laid all this out when they redeveloped the cemetery, the graveyard. So this is where the Pink Lady, or the Lady in Pink, but everyone appears on the steps there. Comes down the steps, walks around here, gets halfway down this pathway, and just simply disappears. Now, she's been seen. Last reported sighting was roughly about 25 years ago of a man walking his dog.
Yeah.
But he said the actual cemetery lit up, and she was a bright shade of pink, flowing, but she seemed to be hovering above the ground.
Yeah.
Should I go up to the ladies?
Yep, let's go.
But these different variations as well, who the actual pink lady is. Some people say she was a lady in waiting that was associated with the castle. As you can see, it's based on rock.
Yeah, it's just pure rock here. You don't want to fall off of this in the night. You'll be adding to the ghosts.
Where Bonnie Prince Charlie, when Stirling surrendered to him, this is his vantage point. This is where he spied on Stirling Castle.
Stood up here and looked at them.
Apparently he dodged a couple of bullets and just our musket shots.
Oh yeah, they would have been taking pop shots at him from here.
Like I say, before the 15th century, that was the ground where they used to do the jousting, before it was made into a graveyard. Burnt witches, did it, virtually everything there. The Church of the Holy Rood was a wooden structure back in the day.
Yeah.
Around about the 10th, 11th century. So it was a very religious site. And then, of course, when you turned it into the cemetery, you did the joust from the King's Knoll, which was there.
Yeah.
Obviously, these trees weren't there then. So it's a good advantage point, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the highest spot in...
Yeah.
Well, the castle's the highest spot in Stirling, but this is the next best thing, really.
And of course, if you're sat here on some sort of timber structure, watching and it collapses, then...
Goes down that hill.
Yeah.
Off they go.
That's it.
It's the best time, Carl, to look for unusual figures walking around in the graveyard and scanning about.
A lot of ghost groups who do investigations at the Stirling jail, especially last year, this seems to be part and parcel of the tour. They seem to do a tour beforehand. They do a couple of experiments within the graveyard, mainly EVPs and EMF. And I think they did some the rods as well. Do about an hour or so.
My experience when I first came here was more down there.
Yeah.
And that was just someone that was walking between the stones, and then I went after them to make sure, because I'd been tricked by someone speaking on a phone, and then they were gone.
I've always believed, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that, to a certain extent, that a cemetery, a graveyard, whatever you want to call it, I don't believe that it's haunted. I don't believe there's multiple spirits or ghosts walking around and bumping into each other.
No.
I believe something like this, you have like an overseer.
Yeah.
Like a caretaker, maybe the first person who was actually buried here, and he oversees the maintenance and the spirits within the graveyard. Interestingly
enough, that's what Jay was talking about. The ghost that we put up on the chat before, that image was which they thought was the caretaker of do you hear that metal scraping sound?
Yeah, it's the emptying the bins up there.
Yeah. Just I keep hearing a scrapey metal sound, and I was like, what the hell is that? It's closer. It sounds closer. But, distance, because this is I'm used to this living where I live, near the castle, because there's another big bowl between me and the castle, and sound travels very funny. But that just sounded like scraping metal.
Well, I didn't show the triangle back in the day when it was first erected around about the 1850s. A guy called Wilson, who actually designed it, built it. People believe it's some sort of Masonic thing about it. It had originally two lions at the front of it. You can't see it for that, and they were within the space of 20 years they were stolen. But pinch two dirty big stone lions. I mean, why? There's a sense in that. And apparently it's hollow inside, and there's a room within a room, and that's where the sarcophagi is.
Do you know what that scraping sounded like? like a spade in the earth.
Oh, right.
It's either that or chains.
The old cliche, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's...
This is a nice spot, guys, to come up to in the summer. If it's not too busy, you can have a wee sit up here and, you know, look at a graveyard. But it's just a spectacular spot. Watch your footing, because you know, you don't want to end up being
the pink lady, guys,
one of the pink lady. Cheers.
See, you know, television, the Victorians back in the day, the only entertainment was having effigies and statues of people who were condemned to death.
Yeah.
I mean, these two ladies here, two Protestant ladies who wouldn't convert to Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
They were drowned in in Edinburgh.
Uh-huh.
They were staked out on the beach, and slowly the tide came in. But the congregation who were there sang them psalms and hymns
Wow.
while they were drowning. That's nice, isn't it?
It is nice.
I'll show you the grave. The only known without it, the resurrectionists.
Uh-huh.
The victim of the body snatchers. Now, you'll have to bear with me time, because within the dark, I came here a couple of weeks ago, put it on the Scottish Hauntings page, that the EMF was quite active when it came to put it on the grave.
Now the question is, did this person get reburied?
Well, no, because the body was sliced and diced, so she was never reburied. The body was never found.
And I guarantee she's in the surgeon's hall right now. Have you been in there?
Where?
The surgeon's hall?
No.
I'll take you in there.
Is that the one in Edinburgh?
Yep. That'll be where some of these people, bits of them are. Criminals. It's rather sad, actually.
It is. That's where they end up. Now, the lady in question, not trying to find her, you have to bear with me, because it's an old grave. It's quite a distinct grave. There we go.
Find it.
Yeah, this is the one. It's an old grave.
Yeah.
Back in the day, what they used to do, reuse the actual headstones. This is a lady called
1703.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a lady called. What they used to do beforehand, they used to buy the plot for the family.
Yeah.
And then all the generations of family
would go into
buried
it.
there. Yeah.
They turn it over because it just becomes bones at that point.
Now, we're going back to November 1822. She was buried. She was buried on the 19th, and come the 22nd, 3 days later, there was a big gaping hole there. A man came through, going to work one morning, to find a big gaping hole here, and you see the misconception is about your resurrectionists and your grave diggers was that they dug the complete grave up. They didn't do that. You see, when you're buried, your head is here.
Yeah.
Right. So all the resurrections, the grave diggers do is dig a hole about so big, yeah, so they can get to your head. Yeah. Smash the coffin, of course.
Yeah.
Grab your head out and pull you by your head and your neck and pull you up. Now, it was illegal to have to take the clothes, but it wasn't illegal for the body.
Wow.
So what you had to do, you have to strip the body, throw the clothes away, and just take the body.
You're right.
Now, 5 days later, in a pub in Stirling, a man called James McNabb, who was the gravedigger, was found guilty of doing this.
All right.
And what he did, he was in cahoots with a school teacher, a local Stirling school teacher called Daniel Mitchell. And of course, what happened, he was in a pub having a good time, and he told a friend of a friend, and next thing, he had a couple of beers, and he's telling him what he did. And when he got it, when he actually got arrested, he spilled the beans, and like I say, a guy called Daniel Mitchell was involved in it. And what they were doing, he was going to sell her remains, or they did actually sell her remains, for £14 to a guy called John Forrest, who was the local surgeon in Stirling.
Wow.
Within days, they tried to arrest John Forrest, but he'd scarpered with the body, and they never found him. Local surgeon. The rumour is that within 10 years he came back to Stirling as a head surgeon. But I don't know if there's any truth for that. I can't find anything, and I can't find anything out what happened to these two body snatchers, if they were killed or if they're executed for what they did. But there's no record of them. All the record is that they were imprisoned in the toll booth in Stirling. That's it. That's all I've got. So whatever happened to her, I don't know.
Interesting.
And eventually, because of what happened here, they put a wooden structure, a tower, in the very corner, just near Cowan's Hospital there, so they can see. There was one on that side, and there's one on this side, and they had watchmen employed, council, to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Now, this is the only reported recording in Stirling Cemetery that people know about, but I'm not saying there wasn't any more. Because it was rife back in the day. I'm on your place, Edinburgh. It was going off, and quite a lot of local
they've literally
villages,
got metal structures.
A mortise, like a safe, a mort lock. A lot of the villages within the area had wooden structures and sometimes brick structures. Watchmen to watch the.
A couple of the graveyards I haven't taken you to in Edinburgh yet, which we will go to, have those towers. They're still there.
But the people, the watchmen, can easily be bribed.
Yes.
Just to turn a blind eye. So like I say, the body was never recovered. So we're presuming she was diced and sliced. And medical science. That
medical science museum is full of diced and sliced pieces from all different kinds of people. Obviously, I've had these discussions before about how ethical it is to see it and know that these were once people.
You can on some of the actual gravestones as well, you can see the remnants of the musket balls. Some of these, because this was, as well as being a graveyard, it was a battlefield as well.
I was waiting to go and say, does any of the gravestones have like musket shot in them?
Some of them have, some of the older ones.
The older ones, because definitely.
I mean, some of these are so unique, aren't they? Some of these gravestones. Musket shots that my mate Murray Cook told me about.
Well, was tempted to go and see him on Thursday for fun. Get a selfie. So round about here, I was standing round here somewhere. I keep seeing rabbits running. You see these bushes? Right? So I think I was round about here. And the woman that I heard was here. I heard somebody talking. And I turned around and I saw a woman and I was like, oh, that freaked me out. Let's just account for everybody around here. So what I saw, I just try not to step on some graves, so I must have been around about here. This is just what I can remember. I basically saw someone go from this larger structure right here that I've got on my go from the back of it and go round. And I went, I will just nip here, like here, quickly round, and I was here and there was no one here, and I saw that person Go round.
This is probably the oldest part of the actual graveyard.
Yeah. And that for a second I was like, did I actually see something? There's no one to account for.
Yeah. Well, you probably did. At the end of the day, Sam, you're more sensitive, aren't you? You've opened up that third eye that you've got.
Sometimes.
Just a quick one, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Church of the Holy Rood.
Yeah.
The only church outside London to host a coronation. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Now this, you can actually, you can't actually see it. There's a Tudor rose and there is a unicorn. Now it's believed that this room, or this space, was roofed, and there was a doorway there. In 1503, this is where Margaret Tudor and James IV took their wedding vows.
All right.
She was 14 and he was 29. But when it was used as a battle site in the War of the Three Kingdoms, around about 1650, with the likes of General Monk, who was sieging Stirling Castle on the behalf of the parliamentary forces, this was actually destroyed through cannon fire from the castle. Of course, the parliamentarians had a 6-pound cannon on the top of the tower, which was bombarding Stirling Castle. Since that, this has all been redone and remade, and that's been a new wall put in there. But you can see a Tudor rose and to commemorate.
Is that right there?
Yeah, Tudor rose and a unicorn to commemorate the union of the crowns. It was called the Treaty of Perpetual Peace.
Oh, right.
Between England and Scotland, the Stuarts and the Tudors.
That lasted, didn't it?
Yeah. You can just make out the muscle shots, more so on this side. Come back to that one. And you just don't count the musket shots there, side. Just look at the wall there. Especially further up you go, so you make out the.
There's lots of pock marks.
That's your muskets.
Lots of shots all the way up that wall.
We're on the front line now in 1652. 1650s. We're in the front line.
That door didn't exist back then, that's for sure.
No.
It's looking pretty good.
A lot of it. I mean, the windows had gone, everything had gone. It was just a shell. And the minister of Church of the Holy Rood, when he found out that the parliamentarian forces were using this as a base and a means of bombarding Stirling Castle, the minister went over to General Monk and said, "I can't have this. You need to leave."
Yeah.
And General Monk turned around and said, "What a better way for a man to see his last days inside the church."
Well, yeah. People would hide in the church.
Yeah.
You know.
This is our friend. I'm going to come, Simon. I'm definitely on.
Yeah.
This is your
If you can park up there, then you know. Happily at New Year, there's not like 1 million people up here.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
This is your man John Cowan.
Oh, so this is his actual grave?
This is his actual grave, yeah. This is where he's buried. And apparently, on the stroke of Hogmanay, the spirit is seen to get up out of here, dash across there, go into his statue, which is on the hospital, which we'll see in a bit, and then the statue jumps down from the plinth it's on, dances about the hospital, and then goes into the town.
For a beer?
Yes, or two.
You are really hoping that is a legend,
yes.
and that is what Carl most wants to see.
And every time, last Hogmanay, I mean, the weather was absolutely horrendous, and there's no way I could get out of here.
Yeah, I think that was the thing. It was just one of those nights, and unfortunately, it's probably the worst.
Yeah.
You were like super smashing great.
When you're in a ghost hunt, you know, you think it's all.
Yeah, but
no, they were genuine. Really were genuine.
You do sometimes wonder whether that power of suggestion, but you know, that's me just being devil's advocate, and I'm a believer.
A power of suggestion that physically touches you.
Yeah.
These the guns I told you about, Simon.
From a man that's been touched.
Yeah.
Not in a dodgy way like that, more in a friendly way.
Current Ironworks in Falkirk, actually founded, built. Yeah. Made for Russia. Crimean War, 1850.
So this is, or was, possibly used in the Crimean War.
At Sebastopol. They were captured at the two of them. They were captured at Sebastopol, and they believe that they could have been used against the Light Brigade.
Wow.
That was that 1854 Crimea.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that it's got the Russian crest on it.
Go and hold my camera for me. My torch went out. I get my other torch.
I've got a torch here.
Second. Keep it in shot. Don't think about the viewers.
There you go. The eagle. It's the Russian.
Is that so?
Imperial eagle, isn't it?
Imperial eagle, which has got two crowns on its head and a crown in the middle.
Yeah.
So that is significant. Is this? Did you say that this would have been a Russian cannon?
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting because.
Well, it was actually made.
It's very similar to.
It was made in Falkirk in the foundry at Falkirk at the Karen foundry. That's where it was cast. But there's no other markings on it apart from that.
Yeah.
Now I try to get hold of my mate Richard Healy to see what sort of cannons were used at.
Well, it does.
Because he's a big fanatic when it comes to the Crimea.
1855. Simon nearly falls over there. Sevastopol.
That's where they were captured. Try to come up. You can still see up there, the musket marks.
Musket. Note, real musket marks.
Yep.
Not ones hidden to time. Assassination ones. If they are, I wonder what kind of pound cannon this is.
I don't
What you
know.
would class it as.
It's based on the actual size of the bore.
The bore.
Yeah. Just think if it is right though, if these were used at the Battle of the Light Brigade.
Yeah.
Just think.
They would just be standing. It would have had some sort of wheels on it.
Mm.
Where would it have been lit? You know, from here, somewhere around here. Yeah, there's a mark. Interesting mark.
But they'd certainly are big. You see, during the plague, or the Black Death, what you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
the 16th century, they used to have the guild meetings, used to have them outside.
Mm-hmm.
Outside the actual building because of the, you know, like we had with COVID.
Yeah.
Because, and the thing is though, if you die of that plague, that Black Death,
Mm-hmm.
it's classed as devil's death. It's ungodly. So therefore, you cannot be buried in consecrated ground.
They were really looking for scapegoats back in the day for it.
So
they thought that people were cursed that had the Black Death.
The thing is, though, if this is a hospital, so anybody within this hospital who died of the Black Death, the plague, what are they going to do with the bodies? Correct. Bowling Green.
It's a big bowling green, isn't it? And I guarantee it's a big pit. And we've got a few of those.
Well, you reckon this is the oldest bowling green in Stirling?
Yeah.
And I do believe that out there,
there's a plague pit.
Yeah.
Underneath this.
Yeah. It's part of their land. It's so like you were saying before about babies and what have you. So if you've got, even if you've got one body there that's got the Black Death,
it's a very odd spot to have a bowling green right next to a church and a graveyard and ancient hospital.
If the church won't let you bury your should we say your patients there because of what they've died of, and you want the body away because you don't want anybody else to catch it. It's contagious. So the only other option is, who's going to know? The thing is, used to have some beautiful orange trees as well that came over from the continent. Oh, on that side. That's a jail there.
Interesting building, isn't it? Is there a hill there?
No, it's just a bush.
Is that just? So it's almost looks like it's sitting on a hill. The rabbits like running around here, don't they? Yeah. They're quite funny. I keep seeing double rabbits running up and suddenly seeing us and then going, oh, we need to take off. These doors, you know?
The original doors.
It's mad. These doors must have energy. You think?
It's a natural resource, isn't it? Oh yeah.
Some energy in the doors. Yeah. I got a scare one time I was here.
I mean, when you come and think of it, Sam, it's a hospital.
Yeah.
It's a private hospital, and they've got their own balcony. Their own recuperation balcony.
Yeah, I got a scare one time I was here because I came up and I was looking around and I came up in this corner and there was two people sitting here hiding right in the corner.
I like to go and sellers in this place as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's manage.
Huh?
So can you manage?
I can, but I don't know. It's just like I've been driving all day and my knee is totally. Ugh. I noticed when we went up the ladies' hill that my knee was just feeling a bit. Oh. So.
See, all this here used to be the hunting grounds for the Stuart Kings. If you look further where Camerspan is, where them lights are in the distance there, there's a wall, and it was all walled off, it was all cordoned off, and that's where they used to hunt the Stuart Kings back in the day. And where the lights are there, that used to be the old race course, the old race ground.
It's interesting to think of this place all being woodland and full of deer and stag. Yeah. You know, even where I live, and just a walk away to the meadows, that was woodland and deer and a hunting ground.
Yeah.
I mean, even the place where Darnley, was blowing up. I need to take a wee visit there.
Yeah.
Much of it, I don't think it exists anymore, but the spot's there.
Well, there was actually, apparently during the celebrations, during his baptism, his celebration, James his son, when he got crowned king, there's an actual house. It's called Darnley House, and that's where he spent because he was banned from the castle.
Yeah.
Because Mary Queen of Scotland fell out, and it was in actually a whorehouse, and that's where a brothel, and that's where he stayed.
It was Kirk of Field that I was thinking of as well, where apparently He at one point he was nursed back to health by Mary Queen of Scots.
Yeah, but after he killed David Ritzel, I don't think he was a flavour of the month.
No.
And I think he was on a. That's how, I'm assuming, I believe that's how he was killed.
Well, we definitely need to take a trip to the palace at some point and
Holyrood Palace,
see the stain.
Yeah.
I keep hearing noises behind me. It sounded like somebody threw something. You know, like a cup.
Huh?
It's nothing I've dropped or anything. And I heard a weird noise. Yeah, no.
What, a banging noise? Or?
There was a banging behind us here. It sounded like somebody at a door, and then a couple of seconds I hear a pop, and it sounds like a cup. You know, like somebody's throwing something. And I ain't dropped anything. I'm not. Just while we were talking. Anybody around? Anybody wanting to talk to us? Interested in our conversation?
I didn't bring the recorder.
I've got my one. If you want to try it.
Yeah, try it.
Pull it out of my pocket. Bear with us, guys. This is like not that kind of operation. It's the best thing as well. Is you can buy a recorder, you can't read in the dark. You know, you can't even see it. See if it's even got batteries. Has it got power? It died.
The batteries in it?
Yeah, they're probably dead. I've got like more batteries. We can, if you can hold this, I can switch them out.
Oh, I'm the cameraman.
I get stuck.
For a minute there, I thought I was going to climb over the wall.
Yeah, if I drop my bag over the side and I've got to get down there, well, I'll be like, I won't be annoyed because I've dropped it. I'll be annoyed that I've got to walk round and get it. That's the sort of person you're dealing with here. You know?
Yeah.
Anything that's going to survive. Make sure I've actually got the right batteries as well. I could take backup batteries for some of these things.
Batteries for all occasions.
Yeah. Whether I've got the right ones, that's the other thing. I guarantee these are the smaller ones. Oh, they dropped some, so he's never gonna know.
Can you see alright, yeah?
Not really, but...
Do you want to come around that end?
Let's see the torch out. See what the hell's going on. Paul goes to the comedy show where he doesn't have the right batteries. He's got batteries, he's got AA batteries, he's got AAA batteries for...
How unprofessional.
Yeah.
Eh?
So, forget that for a lark.
Just talk amongst yourself, guys, for 5 minutes while Simon sorts the batteries out.
There's no batteries. There's only like the wrong size batteries.
Oh dear.
So, yeah, we can't record shit.
Okay.
There you go. Didn't think about that. I didn't think we are going to be using this, but this thing is run for... I would highly recommend this recorder, this Olympus recorder.
As long as you keep it charged.
Yeah, it does actually work really well, and the best thing about it is when you want to get the stuff off it, you just plug it straight into your computer.
Fantastic.
And it's kept every recording I've ever done in it.
When charged?
When charged. Now it's dead, so back into there. Right. Well, this is going to be looking like I'm going to dive into the void.
Oh.
Right, I think it's more using our own senses if we're gonna pick anything up. And yeah, well, I mean, there is a bit of bushes around here, and there could be maybe a bit of rubbish sitting in the bush, and the wind when it's blowing could just blow a cup or something, you know. I'm just rummaging in my pocket there, but it wasn't that. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Where am I going to flip my...
It's emblem of JC.
Mm-hmm.
So this must have been some sort of entrance back in the day, because look how ornate it is.
Yeah. Oh, he was definitely wooing the ladies in his hospital, wasn't he? With his grandiose building.
Ladies' man. He never married. Never married. Now, one of the stories I got told a couple of years ago, church of the Holy Rood in the summertime always up around about 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guides opens it 10 o'clock one day, opens it up, goes in, and as you go into the foyer there's a glass door, and you walk into there, another door.
Mm-hmm.
Went through the door, and as you go through that next door, there's a row of lights on the left hand side.
Yeah.
Over the curtain. What you have to do, go into the alcove, ding 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 ding, and all the lights come on to the building and the church. But they only come on to a certain, I think, then there's another set of lights that the altar area, that switch on the altar area lights. So what you have to do is ding 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 ding, then go halfway down the building and ding 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 lights, and then the rest of the lights come on.
Yeah.
So you've got the full lights on before the people come in.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget his name now. Oh, we'll say John. And of course John switches the lights on as he walks into the building on his left hand side, goes through the alcove, ding 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 ding, walks down to the other switches to switch the rest of the lights in the building, and as he's halfway into the church, the lights go out and he hears the lights click off. He thought, oh, what's happened there? So he goes back and he sees all the lights that he switched on are now switched off.
All right.
He thinks, well, I switched them on. Why this? So he ding, 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 about, I think 5 or 6 lights, ding, 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 does it again, stands there for a while, making sure that, you know, they're not on that switch where they're going to switch off, making sure that they're all down, the switches are all down, walks back down there, next thing you know, he hears them switch off again. So he thinks, oh, there's something wrong here. So he goes back to the switch, changes the switch, with each individual light switches on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Switches them all on again, gets down to the halfway down the building, and they switch off. And he hears the lights being switched off, clicking off.
And run.
So he thinks,
I'm out of here.
I'm out, yeah. So he comes out, locks the building back up, gets here, makes a telephone call to the person who's supposed to be meeting here, the other guide, saying that he's not going in on my own because of what's just happened. And the guy who he phones up, who's walking down here, who hears him, says, well, maybe it's electrical fault. So he said, well, if I'm going in there, you're going to come in there with me. Yeah. So they both walk in there. One of them switches the lights on with his friend watching him. They both get halfway down the building and the lights go off. And they both distinctly hear the switches going ding, 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 as if they're being switched off by a physical person. Yeah. So in the end, the guy said, right, that's it. What we'll do, we'll wait for the electrician. We'll phone the electrician, wait for the electrician to come. I'm not doing this. I'm not staying here with this happening. So they both walk out. They phone the Stirling council. They get in touch with a local electrician. The local electrician comes, checks the switches. Nothing wrong with the switches. Switches are fantastic. Switches are great. But my friend, after a week, calling John, packed it in. So I'm not doing that again.
Not doing that, yeah. Not like wandering about inside the haunted church.
the thing is though, it's dark. It's near enough pitch. Well, not to say it's pitch dark, but it gets dark because you switch all them lights off.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck at the other end.
It's dark, and it's a health and safety risk as well.
Mm-hmm.
And plus the fact he was terrified.
Yeah, you could just trip over and fall and have a heart attack, and the guy would be found.
Now I don't know if it happens again because like I say, I've not been in there, so I don't know. But I'd like to ask the guides.
It's funny. I was saying to you earlier on, I don't think I'd been in here, but I actually wonder if I have, and I've just forgotten. I'm sure now that I come to this door, I think I maybe remember coming in here and speaking to two young ladies and saying, "Oh, is it shut?" And she went, "Yeah, we're just shutting like now. So you don't mind if I just come in and just quickly run round? I won't be long." I says, I've been meaning to get in here, and probably ran round and had a look inside. So I might still have the pictures. You showed me the pictures when you and your partner came to Stirling Castle.
Mm-hmm. To turn in the
I don't think I hadn't been in here at that time, but that was probably the first time I'd been to Stirling Castle for years. What's interesting to me, I need to go and check this out because this is bothering me now, yes, this does change, right? Because I was like, hold on a minute. I didn't see anybody flick for that, and I did see the lights go off, and I wondered if somebody was going to come out the door while we were chatting and just flick the thing. I mean, it's shut anyway, but... Yeah.
But but like I say, I've never been in. I keep meaning to come in. Every time I've come, it's either been closed or
it needs. Yeah, you need to kind of come. It's usually through the week. Yeah. Most of these churches seem to be through the week at a certain time, if not on the Sunday when something's actually happening. That's basically where you need to turn up. The Grey Friars is a day. There is a day that you need to go in order to get into it.
But it's just a church that's just full of history. Absolutely full of history. And this fascinates me. This big always, every time I've been, when I've been in the golf, I always get some sort of activity at this place. Interesting to see what the investment looks like.
Mm-hmm. You got your K2? Us ghost hunters keep our K2s in our pockets just like our mobiles. Apparently. It's one of the few pieces of tech that I do take, even if I'm not.
Just a sort of random grave, and yet it always seems to get some sort of, seems to pick up this thing just around here.
Robert Scones. Cologne.
Found a member of the Church of Scotland in Stirling. And he's quite character back in the day, quite religious nutter.
You might rile him up if you call him a religious nutter.
But every time I've been, it's always quite this place. Typical.
Tell you one thing, it's that dark in here. It's taken on a whole different kind of feel, and I've got to admit, I mean, I had a headache when I woke up this morning. I took some ibuprofen and I was fine all day, and I am starting to feel my head again. And sometimes when I feel my head, it's usually because I'm in a graveyard, or you know, I'd often walk into graveyards and get headaches.
Is that down to the energy that's around the graveyard?
I don't really know. You know, I mean, I always thought that when I walked into graveyards, and this is well before I ever, you know, did any ghost hunting or knew you guys, that I would go and wander around a graveyard and be on my own and get a bit of a headache, and almost feel as if I'd been being watched. But often, sometimes that would continue all around the graveyard, and other graveyards, after a while, it would just dissipate, it would disappear. And it was almost like I could feel, or as if I would feel as if somebody was going, "We're watching you, oh, he's okay, we'll just leave him alone." And then I would be fine. Or whatever was around was gone that was causing the headache.
Well, I believe so. Well, I'd like to believe that when you go to the spiritualist church, you're getting more sensitive to these things.
There's a lot of old.
Maybe you were born with some sort of sensitivity.
Yeah, but there's a lot of old stone here. Yeah. You know, and you know, okay, maybe the stones come from similar places. So, yeah, I just kind of wonder whether, I mean, we're using EMF. If there was something coming off the stone, we would pick that up. I don't know, but yeah.
I always send off readings when it comes to EMF. This place, just this part of the actual graveyard. I mean, I'm going back about. I actually posted on this. I did a live. I think it was pre-COVID. Mm-hmm. Me and the two daughters, and was going around the graveyard, and I had my spirit box with me. Mm-hmm. And we came here, did a little bit of a spirit box session here. Nothing really exciting, and as we walked off, distinctly heard them two in the spirit box. One of the things I said, would you like to speak to us? Would you like to speak to any of us? And as we walked off, it just said them two. Yeah. I'm presuming it means the two girls. And this was in this area when we were walking off.
You mind if we maybe walk off of this area? Just take a step off of here. I'm just saying that because, you know, it's my head, and also I get a bit like tinnitus. I just get like, I can hear it in my ears. I don't know, it's been a long day.
Of course, yeah.
But at the same time, if I start to feel it, I move on and try to get it to clear away. Yeah.
Do you want to stay in the graveyard, or do you want to move further on? Do you want to go to the jail? Or?
Well, I was going to suggest, why don't we go and check out the Commonwealth graves, and then go and find out this witchy area, if it's there. I am wondering whether or not it is, you know, whether we should actually protect ourselves before we go there, because it's got a bit of a reputation. Well, certainly in psychic circles, should I say.
Who told you that? Who told you?
Yeah, I've been told that by someone else as well, but I couldn't find it before, and I really needed Jay to kind of tell me where exactly it is.
So you know exactly where it is?
Yes, I do, kind of. What's interesting is that what was said about it was the feeling of wanting to take your clothes off and run around naked if you were a woman.
Okay.
Which is very odd near the war graves.
Well, it's that residual energy bit. Like that.
Did you just get a reading?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We just had a reading, folks.
Yeah.
I put mine away, but you got any pink ladies? Madam, are you here?
Mary.
Mary? They're often Mary, aren't they?
Yeah, well, look on the lady who was subject to the resurrectionist. Her name was Mary Witherspoon. If some people believe it is the Pink Lady.
You hear that? It's probably somebody in the distance. Or somebody, it's like somebody whistling, but it could just be a car or something in the distance, but yeah, it's a weird sound.
Quite a lot of rabbits about, isn't it?
Yeah. They seem to run up on you.
It's always when you leave that factory.
Yeah, when we're enjoying ourselves. Let's continue where we're going. I was going to try and take us down where we came through,
Right.
or unless we can get out, because we need to kind of get over or round, because the war graves are over the other side.
Right.
And we'd have to go through that path to get to them. I think you've got to walk out, and so bear with us. I see the light down there. Somebody's got a light in front of their stone.
I'd like to know as well when the necropolis, them houses that face it, if you actually pick up anything or see anything when you look out the windows at
Well, that's the one thing I've always wondered, what it would be like to live next door to a graveyard.
Even grave flyers, where that is situated, there's quite a lot of residential houses that look upon it.
I would like to know more about the buildings that face onto the Coventers prison.
Yeah.
Because that's the active area, and whether anything's ever seen there. Certainly, when it comes to Greyfriars, it's open, so you can walk in, I think, anytime. I don't think it closes, and the reason I say that is because, you know, I have been in there at night, and it is often you do bump into nefarious characters.
Yeah.
With a bottle of Buckfast.
Yeah.
I have seen people camping in there as well.
All right.
Yep, I've seen a tent between and at the back of some of the larger tombs in there. So yeah, those people they got balls of steel.
Oh, I'd do that myself with a tent.
Yeah, if I got company myself,
Yeah.
no way. I mean, there's been that many crimes. There was something, yeah, I think it's here. Commonwealth graves. So there's a semicircle apparently. So it must be up here. It could be this whole area up here. Yeah, it could be this. Here, yeah, here, there. That's it there, I think. Yep, this area here. It's supposed to has a lot of interesting energy. Whether this is positive energy or what, well, strong enough to rip the head off of that.
How you feeling? You still got that headache, or has it settled down a bit?
Yeah, I feel a bit better since I got away from there.
Right.
Definitely. Now, you know, I'll be corrected if I'm wrong here, but I'm just kind of going on memory, or, you know, what I'm thinking, whether or not. So this is possibly where witches did some occult activity.
Right.
But also remember, witches were killed nearby, and possibly their bodies were buried here. This might be the spot of the witches' bodies, and this is why the witches did their ceremonies here.
There's no recorded of where the actual people who were tried as witches, where they were actually buried.
That's the thing. So this is, if I've got the right spot, and hopefully, you know, the people, if they are watching that know this, can keep us right, or tell me again. But if this is the actual area here, and I believe that they have, the people that I know have done a ghost hunt here and have had experiences here, and also had experiences or feelings of the women felt kind of like. Does it
mainly affect women?
I think so. But I also, the other thing about this, if I might be wrong, there was a possible spiritual attachments that have come from here, like negative spiritual attachments have come from this spot, if this is the place. So and that I was warned to be very careful around here.
This area?
Yeah. If this is the spot. It's like dead here, isn't it?
Is that a reflection of your light coming through there? Can you see it?
Let's say turn that off. There seems to be lights on here and there, like, you know, like, yeah, like somebody's maybe got like one of these yeah, placed in front of somebody's grave. Isn't it? It's pitch black at the moment, folks, so I'm...
It's not pitch dark, though. It's dark. But you could pick up somebody who's walking in the road.
Oh, I mean, here, probably on camera, you can't see a damn thing. But I can see the graves around me, and, you know. Anyone round here wishing to talk? Make themselves known? That's why I often think that sometimes the summer is better time. You know, when I am going on the hunts, if it's cold, I put my hat on and I cover my ears, but I often have to flip up the corners so I can hear. So I can hear properly. Anybody about? Remember, don't walk off the edge there, Carl. Alright. As you look, you can't see nothing. Yeah.
Very quiet. How are you feeling now?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad here.
You're not getting any headaches or any sort of...
My head's still slightly, but not like it was there. I honestly thought that I was starting to just, you know, my head was bursting a little bit. Uncomfortable, almost like something's pressing on a nerve. You know, if your headache was a button, it's pressing it. Do you know what I should take with me next time? Is to take my my black light, see what I can pick up. I've got quite a powerful one. And next time we come here, or by the time it's Stirling jail, I'll have night vision. I'll be ready to record in 4K night vision, so that'll make some of these.
We need to settle down, well, not settle down, but need to sort of schedule.
Yeah.
For Stirling jail.
I think what we should have done is, you know, this the end of this month or last month was just sort of say, look, put your money down ahead of time. And it just gives people a bit of a month, so they don't have to think about it at the time. But it's not really much, so. And I need to email someone as well. And I haven't had an email back about the tickets, the free tickets to the, well, not the free tickets, but the pay on the night tickets. For
was that Paul Wood's That Nice Paranormal?
Yeah.
That the barracks.
I might send a text message. I emailed the address that I was given. But we're not going to talk shop. You know, for me, guys, if I was looking for a pinnacle of paranormal activity, right, I would want to be looking for something that was very similar to what was in two American Woman's videos in the same location, what they call the shadow person cemetery, and to find a walled area or a tall standing black void of a figure in a graveyard. You probably wouldn't find me running away. I'd probably be walking up wanting to take the hood off of said evil villain from Scooby-Doo, only to find it just fades in front of you. But yeah, that's kind of what I would be wanting to do.
See, I've got the sensation now that I'm being watched.
Yeah. This is a bit of a watchy kind of area.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just a bit self-conscious.
Do you smell that?
What?
Just have a whiff in there. You know, making sure we're not standing in dog shit, but there's a whiff of shit. And if there's a whiff of shit, that's not a good thing. No, I just got a whiff of. When I say shit, I mean kind of manure. A wee manure blast in the face there. You know, like a shit-smelling demon. Yep. That's sounds like an owl.
Right, that's that mean.
So, I hate to say it. I don't think you can see it. Can you see it in the camera? It's a half moon.
Yeah.
You know? Total eclipse. You don't know what I'm talking about, eh? Where's those orange biscuits again? Yeah. Or someone trying to escape the tomb. Anyone out there? Saying that, this is not the oldest part of the cemetery. This is war graves, yeah. So, you know, respectfully.
Like that was being pushed over, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, but that's not a war grave, is it?
No. But this is a sort of cemetery, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it predominantly?
Possibly down, I mean, and around, but you know, I was like gonna be an area to give some history, but all I was gonna say was, wow, good God, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. We're going to walk around the outer area. Yeah.
Just a part of the cemetery where military personnel are buried as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, imagine this spot, hey. Quite a spot to get your grave. 1951. 1990. Hmm? Yeah. Intelligence Corps. Drowned on active service. 27, 1940. Interesting. It says it's been cleaned. And mm. 1940. I think a lot of them have got a cross on them.
It's using natural stone.
You want to get the lone piper.
Yeah.
Yeah, die in London and then come here. Yeah.
I do believe that in this somewhere in this graveyard is one of the second engineers of the Titanic. Went down with the Titanic.
All right.
The grave that marks that. And also Butch Cassidy, the outlaw. His uncle is actually buried here.
All right.
This side of the family emigrated to America.
Uh-huh. You'd think there would probably be a sign somewhere that would tell you where to go or where to look. Guys, it's like phone vision now. Oh, another circle with a tree.
With a tree central.
Yeah,
And all the graves are all facing the tree in a circle.
interesting.
And there are lots of graves as well in the circle facing the tree. Tree of life.
Yeah.
Tree of death.
It's a white blossom tree, isn't it? It's got white flowers on it.
All facing the tree in a circle. Trying to see Joe to try and elaborate
Mm-hmm.
where it actually is.
What, Butch Cassidy's uncle
Yes.
and the Titanic bloke. Oh, you went down with the Titanic?
Yeah, he went down with the Titanic.
So it was just to commemorate him.
Yeah, yeah. I believe he's a resident of Stirling. It feels peaceful, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't feel negative.
No, no. Anywhere you'd like to go?
Well, what I'm going to do is, I mean, I think all my equipment's just a bit dying.
Right.
The phone's just needs to be used to get home.
Right. No problem,
but what I'll probably do is I'll end our video, but we can still wander about. Unfortunately, these people will not get to see the most interesting parts. That's the only thing. But it's really up to yourself. I would definitely hang about for a bit longer. Yeah, I think next time I'll make a point of being here with the equipment fully charged. I might just take go and purchase another battery, so that I can just switch. Because basically I've had 2 locations today out of 1 battery, and then the next one.
How did it last? Is it just dependent how you use it?
Yeah, depending on what you're shooting, and I am only shooting in 1080, so not the 4K, just to kind of limit the prolong the battery, and it's easier to upload. Doesn't take as long. And 1080 is good enough. Especially if you're going to film something in the dark. You don't really see much. During the day, 1080 looks great.
Yeah. That is quite spooky.
Yeah. There was another one. There was definitely another one I saw in there. You can get back and enjoy some of your Saturday. Get your feet up.
Well, hopefully tomorrow, in Kipping, I'm going to look for it's an abandoned farmhouse where an unsolved murder.
Oh, right, good. Interesting.
Where he was found strangled. Apparently, the house was locked, and she was found inside the locked house.
Oh. So for how long was she there?
Well, nobody knows. There's no happened during the course of the search. We've not had to study it and see what kind of knows that she was found strangled in the house. Her name was Doris Smith. And at the time, the houses surrounding the estate surrounding the house, parents used to say, "You need to bed before it gets dark, or Doris will get you."
Oh well, that's a great ending to the video there. Look out or Doris will get you. Right, we're going to call it. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll do this again and be more prepared with more equipment. So have a good time, guys. Thanks.